What should you be thinking about when you're hiring a lawyer for a driving while intoxicated case? Driving while intoxicated in Texas is what many other states refer to as a DUI, or driving under the influence. When you're looking for a driving while intoxicated lawyer in Texas, here's some things that you should look for. First, look for a subject matter expert. In Texas, you can only call yourself an expert as a lawyer if you have gone through the additional step of becoming board certified. So at our firm, we have a number of lawyers who are board certified criminal specialists. This means they can both call themselves experts and they are in fact experts in criminal law. Of course, driving while intoxicated is a subset of criminal defense. So as you're asking the potential lawyer your questions, you need to find out how many driving while intoxicated cases they've handled. That means both in pretrial settings where cases are resolved through negotiations, perhaps through a dismissal, perhaps through a plea, and how many cases have they handled through a jury trial? Both questions are important. I know going through over 100 jury trials that every trial I've been in, I've learned something new, because the dynamic of when you have a witness on the stand is very different from when you're just looking through the reports that they've written or watching the videos that were captured by their body cams. Someone who's an expert on driving while intoxicated cases will be someone who has handled every type of DWI. So that would include things like DWIs with alcohol, DWIs with drugs, DWIs with prescription drugs, driving while intoxicated cases that involved a specimen of breath, blood, and also DWI cases that did not have a specimen at all. You should also look for someone who is in your jurisdiction and in your court on a regular basis. What I mean by that is, although the laws in Texas for driving while intoxicated cases are uniform throughout, in other words, a first-time offense is typically a Class B misdemeanor with a maximum punishment of up to 6 months in jail, every court is different. Every judge has different requirements. Every prosecutor looks at driving while intoxicated cases a little bit differently. Additionally, what resonates with each prosecutor is different. So you'll want someone who is not only familiar with the laws in Texas and how to analyze these cases, but also someone who's familiar with the court, the judges, and the prosecutors, so they can put you in the best position to get an excellent outcome on your case. As you're looking for attorneys, you want to consider the reputation of the attorney. You can find out about the reputation of the attorney by first looking online for reviews. See what people have said about the attorney specifically in driving while intoxicated cases. If you have friends or colleagues who are in the legal space, you should also ask them about the reputation of the attorney, even if they're not in the same practice area. So you could go ask a civil attorney or a paralegal at a family law firm, have you ever heard of attorney X? What's their reputation within the legal community or within the bar? All of these things are important as you try to decide who the best attorney is for you. Understand that finding the right DWI lawyer is also a very personal decision. There is no one best driving while intoxicated attorney for every person in the state, because so much of this depends not only on the end result, but also the client journey, and you're the client. How this person communicates with you, the rapport you're able to build with them, the trust they instill in you when you talk to them is all very important. Part of what you're analyzing is their ability to talk you through everything you need to know, from the very first phone call all the way through the resolution of the case. Because you're also evaluating, if this person can't communicate well with me, how do I expect them to communicate well with a prosecutor, with a judge, or potentially a jury? When you're interviewing lawyers for your driving while intoxicated case, find out what their style of communication is and what their level of communication is. So for example, at our firm, we actually ask our clients, what is your preferred method of communication and how much information do you want? If my wife, Anna Summersett, were to ask someone a question, her preferred response is to get the high points. My preferred response is to learn everything about the answer so I can make up my own mind. So find an attorney that you communicate well with and is interested in how you want to communicate. Here's something you should watch out for during the interview process. Watch out for any attorney who is willing to make you a promise about the end result. The reality is, no matter how good the facts are, no lawyer should be promising you an end result. There are certainly cases that we look at that we believe and hope will be dismissed, but understand there are other people involved. An unreasonable prosecutor, for example, could hang on to a case, unwilling to dismiss it, and force you to go to trial, even under the best of circumstances. Attorneys who make promises are not only breaking the ethical rules that we have to follow as lawyers, but they're setting up unrealistic expectations. Have a general idea of what driving while intoxicated charges cost in your area. Because if you're talking to someone who is a low-cost provider compared to the rest of the market, you need to ask yourself why that's the case. Is their reputation such that they can't charge normal or above average prices? Or are they a low-cost provider because they operate in volume? If an attorney's operating in volume, you have to ask yourself, how much time do they have to dedicate to your case, and what are you looking for? Driving while intoxicated charges in Texas are serious charges. There are a lot of collateral consequences, including how it affects your license in the short term and in the long term. It affects your reputation. It can even affect your employment. So in making this serious decision, you want to find an attorney who is taking it as seriously as you are. We handle driving while intoxicated cases throughout North Texas and now in Houston as well. If you've been charged with a driving while intoxicated case, don't hesitate to give us a call. Our number is 817-203-2220.